A good conversation can shift the direction of change forever. Would you leave it to chance? Join the authors of Design to Change and explore this series of conversations with designers and event owners. Driven by the need and conversations with event owners and event designers who use the event canvas around the world, this series explores the depths of conversations to elevate your abilities to look and act beyond the now. Episodes are hosted by Ruud Janssen, Rolf Friesen, Dennis Lehrer, and Paul Rukens, with illustrious changemakers, designers, and pioneers in the field of design and beyond. To explore these conversations and additional content, visit designtochange.online. For now, let's start the conversation.
All right, I'm excited today to speak again with Maryse Paquette. Maryse, welcome to the Design to Change podcast.
Thank you so much for welcoming me.
Absolutely. So for those of you who've never met Maryse, Maryse is the Director of Marketing and Communications at NERGICA, which is a Canadian research and innovation center focused on renewable energies, based in Quebec, Canada. You have a strong profile at the intersection of events, marketing, and innovation ecosystems. And we met at the Event Design Certificate Program at Florida International University, where you became a certified event designer.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a question that we ask all of our guests, Maryse, at the beginning of our podcast. And that's the question: a good conversation can determine the direction of change forever. Would you leave it to chance?
Good question. And I feel like there's no wrong and right answer. But if saying that chance would be inactivity, then I would say that, of course, I wouldn't leave it to chance, like not doing anything or not finding any opportunity. But if chance would be trusting that like a conversation is not something that you plan, then I would definitely leave it to chance. Like if chance is it's just not having a plan, then I would be totally welcome to leave it to chance. Yeah.
To serendipity, yeah. Now, events are not left to chance, and you as a certified event designer are probably obsessed by the behavior changes of events, right? But you do have to create the vessel, the place where the people that need to talk to each other actually have an opportunity to talk to each other, right? So creating the vessel becomes kind of one of the purposes. Can you tell us a little bit about how you landed in the world of energy transition and what that has brought to you? Because you've been active in this space for what, a decade and a half, and now you've experienced all these different types of events, working in different parts of this ecosystem. Can you share a little bit about what does it look like? What type of events do you run? Have you run? What does that look like today for you?
Yeah, so I can actually start at the beginning of the story, and it's quite related to chance that I end up being in the event industry. But at first, I did my bachelor in kinesiology, so which was more in the health sector,
Yeah.
and I was working with that brand Oakley, like the sunglasses, and they
Okay.
named me as an ambassador. So they wanted us to do things so people would follow us and like do stuff so they can actually sell more projects. So the
Yeah.
beginning of the ambassador world.
Yeah.
And in my head, I didn't want to do just like posting, or I didn't want to do passive things. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I want people to be engaged. I don't want people to look at me. I want to be people to participate. And this
Mhm.
is the beginning of how an event starts. So when you wanted people to get engaged and make them do stuff, then I was like, oh, okay, so let's like plan an event. So I started at like one of my first event. I called Oakley and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have a little event. I'm maybe planning like 20%. I'm gonna do like an early morning workout type of thing. And
Mhm.
actually, more than 100 and like person showed up. So I was like, okay, so this is event planning. You need like a plan and you need structure and you need, so I actually just took the ball and I was like, oh, I actually love it because there's so many dimensions on
Yeah.
event planning and there's actually so much thinking behind like, okay, so how do I make people move in the event? How do I welcome them? How do like they exit and what's the transformation they have? And you
Yeah.
just need to relate everything. So that was my first experience. So it was actually like a luck. It was actually like something that happened to me. And after that, I just repeat that event, and like more than 150% showed up, and that event is still going on right now, like 20 years later. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, so
Wow.
it's actually really nice. And I was like, oh, so I think this is something I like. And I started like a new kind of a business in the event industry, and I wanted it was still in the outdoor industry in the sport area, and I
Hmm.
wanted to introduce girls into like more outdoor sports. So I started
Hmm.
little activity, and this is still going on also uh, 15 years later. So I actually one person knew I was doing those events, and she was in the renewable energy sector. And she's the
Hmm.
one say, oh, you know what? We are struggling like finding good resources, doing event. Do you want to do business event? I was like, oh, sure. I never done that, but I guess it's something we can learn. So I started a contract with her for the business I'm presently working for. It's a
Yeah.
nonprofit. It's a nonprofit, and this is how I end up there. And I find it the mission really related, like was impactful for me. Like working in the renewable energy sector, really
Yeah.
felt like I was doing something for like the planet, and my skills in the event industry was being applied to like a really relevant sector for us. So this is how the story end up. So it's a really non-linear path for me.
So it's a trajectory with like serendipity, but also like chance encounters that then lead to the next thing, which
Yeah.
is
So
which is which is an interesting. So how did Oakley? Because you're like one of the early influencers before influencers were influencers, I suppose, in
yeah,
terms of
exactly.
like maybe you invented that part of the trade for Oakley, right? How did you get that connection originally? How did they find you, or what was the spark between those two opportunities?
Oh, so yeah, I just went there like back in the days when it was more about people connection. So I went to their door, I went to their office, which was like 2 hours away from my home. I took my parents' car. So I went to their business and I introduced myself. And this the director of marketing back in the days, she was like, "Oh, you know what? We have a big concours, a big how do you call it in English? Like a big,
Competition or
yeah,
yeah.
competition draw kind of
Mm.
thing. So you just have to apply, and we'll be selecting 10 ambassador in the province. So maybe you could get in, and from that, I think there would be nice initiative you can do." So I was like, "Oh, of course." So then I needed to do a video, which was it was hard because back in the days it was not with my cell
You
phone,
need a
but
camera and a cameraman and everything. Yeah.
and then you just like do some matching, and I felt like my video was so nice, and I just looked at it a couple of weeks ago actually, and I was like, oh my God, this was awful. Because I didn't have the technology that nowadays just to do a good video is so much easier. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think it felt true and it felt really connected. So this is how they got me into that program. And
Mm.
so it was really, I think, all about connection. So yeah.
But you search for the connection by going to their office, taking the car, driving for 2 hours, knocking on someone's door, bumping into the director of marketing, who happened to have an ambassador program that he or she was looking for the right people. So, I mean, those chances are, I mean, coincidental or right. It's interesting that yeah, without the initiative, you getting in the car and actually going there, none of this might have happened, right?
Yeah, so it's really related to the answer I gave to the first question you asked, because of course, if I didn't go there with my car and had the connection, then I wouldn't like. But I was open to that change. Like if she wouldn't, if I was like, oh no, that was not my plan to be an ambassador. I have other plan. Then like
Yeah.
my whole career now is based on that little part that
So it's like a
started.
pivotal
Yeah.
moment in your career where
Hmm.
like a new door opens to a new thing. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's uh, that's that's a really cool story because like many of our listeners as well who are, interested in event design or might own an event as an event owner, a lot of them or most people that I speak to have fallen into events instead of consciously chosen to be an event designer or a
Hmm.
an event owner, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so when you ran into the person that then pivoted you into NERGICA as the Renewable Energy Research Center, um, that kind of brought you into a completely new world of something that you enjoyed the vision of, okay, this is something I want to be working on. Um, Having now built events there and designed events, what do you see as your like, what's the contribution of events to that movement, to that area of renewable energy? How do events contribute, do you think, in your company?
So how does event contribute to the sector? Oh, so connection. Like this is really easy. Like especially the COVID showed us that when we didn't have that in-person connection, that it really wasn't the same. So we are a nonprofit, and that the company now has 25 years old. And at first, when they started, there were three employees. They were the general director, someone doing the event, and the like an engineer or something. So they were
Yeah,
3%, and they knew from the beginning that doing event was really going to be the this like uh, like the center of something that will make them grow, and it it's how they're gonna make good relationship and bring stakeholder together. And this is really how it's gonna lead to not only get the business bigger but the industry bigger, because we need that connection. I think it's not only our sector, it's not just the renewable energy sector, it's all the person that benefits from learning from others.
yeah,
So it's like we see it uh, in the events, like the people grow in the small event, but from years to years, and the people that comes, uh, it's really it's really nice to bring your eyes outside of your own business. So it really helps you see what others do, how you can do better. Um, it's really cheesy just to say inspiration. I feel like that word sometimes is galvaudé, but it's really inspirational to hear other stories and
yeah,
yeah, get the people together.
yeah, totally. And I think, especially when you're talking about, I mean, that was a nascent industry, I suppose, 15 years ago. Like you described it,
Hmm.
hey, at the time it was three people. How many people work in the organization now, or how many people are involved now,
Yeah,
15
we're
years
around
later?
30. Yeah, 30, around 30%. Yeah.
So it's like tenfold in the effort of people that are currently involved.
Hmm.
Um, what are some of the most memorable events that you've done at Energica recently that our audience that's listening to this might um, or can relate to when it comes to, okay, so this is why you do an event in this space. Um, where energy transition, like everybody talks about it, right? It's like something that everybody seems to be preoccupied with, but I think so few really know what it means because it's highly technical, I suppose, or there's a lot of moving parts. And you say, but from the offset, they saw that events are like at the center of the motion of getting the communities together to actually make it happen, to make this transition of energy happen. Which kind of events have you done recently that, let's say, people could relate to? Just kind of explain to us what they look like, just so we can make a picture in our heads.
Um, right now, the event I've been working, and it's the 17th edition. It's just we try to make it in between like a big party, a super nice conference, and the best gathering. So it's just like we try to bring all those nice elements and to bring it
Mm,
together and to make the in-person like make more sense than ever. So
mm,
like the big party, it's not like really a big party, but it's just that we make sure it's fun. So we have like pre-event activity like golf, mountain biking. We have fun stuff that for networking, it's actually something out of the normal like work day. And during the event, we have like usually a fun band, so people can have like really a good time, so they can experiment something.
mm,
And after that, all about the conference. So we have to make sure everyone, or we're trying every event to make sure everyone gets the information they're looking for. So we have a very diverse type of clientele. So
mm,
we have really neophyte, people that don't know really much about like the technical stuff in the our industry, but like
mm,
let's say like a city that needs to know the more they can, so they can actually deploy project of renewable in their city. Then they will come to our event and get the information needed. So, and then we do have some really like technical people like searching and really really good at like all the technical stuff in our sector, but we need to find like a nice balance of theory where all the people can find a conference they want. So this is really one of the challenge we try to solve. And so this is all the conference and all the type and the variety of subjects. And after that, networking, we make sure the connections are really, really priority. So we do have like all the application, and we try to make sure like us, all the networking take place in rooms, so they have like a nice ambience and they can talk and it's not noisy and it's not like something they do at the corner of the table. We just have to make sure like the connections are real, and it's a nice chance for people to really get together and maybe to get the whole sector to advance and to make deals. And yeah, so this is the three parts. And maybe one event that we did for the first time last year, it's when actually a couple months after I came back from the certification level 3 I did with you guys at Event Design Collective. And one thing I really learned from that certification is that it's the content, that it's so much more important than the 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 what's gonna be in it gonna be more important than what's like just the le content, like the
the
exterior of the
exterior,
event.
like the
Yeah,
context versus the content, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
and it was actually the first event that I had like the less budget to do. And I was like, okay, so I just need to make sure every little details is actually really taught, and really like every little details
Mm.
is being taken care of. So people get out of the events with really concrete tools.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, so it's actually one of the event we had the best marketing, and it's been waiting in the industry, and it was actually for only women in the renewable sector. We wanted to make women feel to have like that great space to evolve, because we still have less women in our industry. So we wanted to create something to help them and find them tools. So we actually try to find that balance. Yeah, so this is also one event that really impact the industry, I think. Hmm.
That's interesting. So the and then the region that you operate in right now, you're because your company is located in Quebec as a
Yeah,
province, I suppose, right? Is it so?
yeah.
What's the scope of what's the reach of the business that you do with these types of events? Is it all across Canada? Is it specifically regional, or how does it work in practice?
Yeah. So our events are mostly taking care being hosted in Quebec.
Hmm.
We do had like in the past some energy events that were more Canadian based, so like being also translated English and French. But the reality is that all the legislation and the different type of law and the context and the political and the geographical reality of every province is so different, and
Yeah,
our country is quite big.
massive.
So um so every province is way 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 different in like the reality of energy, the energy sector. So we cannot make a recipe where like one event is going to be hosted in Quebec and all the topics will be really interesting for everyone in Canada. So
Yeah.
so this is something also we make sure we do take in consideration, and making sure like when we're going to be hosting event, it's going to be locally, or if not, the topics need to be large enough or like specific enough so everyone finds something for
Yeah.
their province. Yeah.
And so if you look at the Colloque, for instance, right? So the event you were just talking about was aimed specifically at women within the community. The Colloque is the bigger event, I think, right? Is that one that
Exactly.
now
Yeah.
17th edition that's happening?
Yeah.
That's the one you were using
In
for your
June.
project to become a certified event designer, I remember back in
Yeah.
24, and then this was pertaining to the 25 edition.
Yeah.
Now that that event has happened in 2025, for instance, um, how, because you were talking about, the context in which the event takes place, and then the content and how it relates to the different stakeholders.
Yeah.
How has your, let's say, how has the experience of becoming a certified event designer and looking at behavior changes specifically, how has that influenced your approach maybe to have a conversation, maybe first of all with your event owner, right? The one that says we should do the colloque, or they own the colloque at some point and say, here's what we want to do in 2027 or in 2029. How has that conversation changed since you went through the program?
Yeah. But first of all, I loved the program. Like it was one of like you didn't ask me to say that before the podcast, but really, it's one of the event program I did that I've learned the most. It's just something really different. Like it's really concrete to our like in the event industry, and it's a nice mix of, okay, like I'm someone really creative and I'm someone really I think I have good sense of psychology to understand the needs of the people, the needs of the participant in the event, and like I can really use just my logic to plan an event. But then after
Yeah.
that, you have that super balance of, okay, now I have a structure, I have something more concrete, I have something that can gather people and make them work together and
Mm.
understand the same thing, and really understand also the impact of a really like thinkful uh, program or process, and that would lead to a good event. Because sometimes it's really hard to understand um, the, all the reflection that need to be done to make an event. Like once the event is done, you don't know, okay, how many tries, how many blank pages did I have, how many like ideas I wrote and rewrite, and like, so this Canva is really helped me to help get my teams on board. So
Mm.
yeah, so this was really, really, really nice to do, and I was really happy I've done. And what changed in my mind after I did that certification, it's really just to use that process, no matter what, just to get me that first step into like starting an event.
Mm.
So yeah, I use usually I don't know if you know the Kirkpatrick model. They
Mhm.
use it, yeah. So usually that was my base to start an event. Like for those who don't know that model, like it's um it's a it's a three layer, it's a pyramid, and it goes from the easiest thing to do and to the hardest thing to do. So usually my base was like, okay, um the first thing is reaction. So if someone get out of an event, let's say they say, "Oh, it was nice," then it's the first thing. It's easy to do an event that is just nice. If after that, the second level was it's more the learning. So, oh,
Yeah.
it was nice, and I've learned something. So, okay, you're doing an event a little with more thought and more reflection. So you're actually making people learning stuff. The
Yeah.
third thing is it's transfer. You're making people like live something, experiment something. So it's the third, it's a behavior, they call it in the pyramid. So
Yeah.
it's usually okay. So it was nice. I've learned something, and I felt something, or I had connection, or like I had an immersion. So this is the third level, and the hardest like level. It's they call it the result. So it's more the ROI. So it's the return on investment usually. Like how can your participant coming to the event can actually bring something back home or back in their business so they
Yeah.
can actually use it. So this was actually, yeah, the base. And now I'm combining all my event Canva or event design certification with that thinking. And it really helped me to have better event with better impact. It's really the impact that I'm focusing on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the impact comes from, I mean, it's like if you turn the pyramid from the bottom up, and I saw the article you wrote about this on LinkedIn. We'll make sure to add it to the show notes if you're interested in learning more about the Kirkpatrick model. Um, because having an instinctive first reaction to what you're experiencing is great, right? It's okay. You expect that, otherwise you wouldn't do the event in the first place. Learning something is where the instructional design translates into a skill, knowledge, attitude, or people learning that might then actually lead to some kind of behavior change, which is the only thing that actually creates value at events if you actually get some of the behavior change. And then if the behavior change is transferred into actual impact in that organization, then you make it visible, right? Then the time spent, the effort spent creating the event translates into an actual value that you can tangibly hold or see or measure
Mhm.
as a result of doing what you do. Now, with 17 editions of the Colloque that you've intimately participated in and designed over many, many years now, if you would go back to some of the kind of like you were talking about doing the video for Oakley, back in the day with different tools than the tools you have available today. If you look back at some of the first editions of the Colloque that you did versus the one that you most recently did, or the one that you're going to do next, what are some of the key changes for you as the event lead on that event?
I think it's that it's it's easy to do a recipe. It's easy to do something you've always done. It's like you're saving money to repeat like what you've done,
Yeah.
and you're saving time. So sometimes that's the balance I'm always trying to find, because in my sense I would like to redo everything, just taking the chance to do it better. Like it could be not it could be worse, but if you're not taking the chance to reinvent it or rethink it, that you're not taking the chance also to make it better. So in my sense, it's like there's a lot of things where we've done the same way we've always done it, but just slowly, and not taking too much risk at like, okay, making small changes and trying to think uh, better ways to do them. But
Mm,
I think some little element I'm trying to bring, it's just to rethink like all like big chunk like so I think this is what the major thing is um I think the way we approach is we're not taking too much risk, because it's not also the goal.
mm.
I don't think like your client or the person you're working for want to, like an event to flop because you don't want to say, oh, sorry, I was just trying to do something different,
Yeah, I
but
was
it
just
didn't
testing
work.
something on you. Yeah. See if
So
it works.
you try to go it slowly, but yeah. So I think that's the main thing. You just I did change some little thing. I would say the main thing was the all the networking with another level of of of, of connection, better connection, real connection, and
Mm,
connection that we're not used to. And
mm,
yeah, so this is something I would say I.
yeah. So at the colloque, you also have a gala for the
Mhm.
Energies Renewables.
Yeah.
Difficult word to pronounce. Energies Renewables, renewable energies, right? So,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that when you do an event like this over many, many years, people have expectations of what the event represents and what it is. If they've been to it before, then they hear things from other people who go to this event, of have been going to this event. Do you see a change in the needs of people coming to the event in 2026 versus when you first started doing this events? Have the expectations changed, or is it fairly the same, or what are you seeing there?
No, the expectation, I think it definitely changed like everything did. So I think with the technology, the AI, and not only at like as an event planner, I think also the needs of the industry is evolving. So
Mm,
like the topics need to evolve. The like at first that event was just made for just an example. So the event was just for wind turbine windmills, like
okay.
just for that industry. And
Mhm.
we find out that the industry now is want to meet with other type of energy. So we we actually growed and make it also like with solar energy, battery, and like microgrid. So different type of energy that needed to talk together. So different industry. So we really have to evolve um with the industry for all the topics. So all and everything. So I feel like the structure of the event need to accommodate workers. So okay, what's their need in their life? So do they want like a full day full of conference, or do they want more networking because this is what they need right now? So I feel like it's something that you can have a vision, but you also need to, especially in our industry, because sometimes they have appel d'offres, which is I don't, what's
Yeah,
in English?
like a request for like an
Yeah,
RFP
big
type
project.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when there's
A
this,
public
then
tender. Yeah.
yeah, so people want to connect a lot and talk a lot. So then we, from years to years, sometimes the needs can really differ. So
Hmm.
like I feel like our event, if it's well thought, we need to evolve years to years and not make it like a like I said, like a recipe and always the same thing and do little change. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's minor little details that need to be taken in consideration. Yeah.
Yeah. And having different fields in the renewable space become present in it, going from wind energy to now all these different types of renewable energies. There must have been a massive change in that industry as well since 2006, and on how, on the one side, the ecosystem changes, and that also changes your event, right? In how it works. Let me switch gears and ask you, maybe, uh, you know, considering you've been doing this for 15 years, what's on your horizon of change if you look into the future, right? So here I'm looking out onto a mountain in Switzerland. There's no windmills up here, and there's no renewable energy except for on the roof, which I can't see. But
Oh.
what's in your horizon of change if you're looking at like the next couple of years? What are some of the things that you are thinking about? What are some of the changes that you are designing for yourself or for your organization, or what's on your horizon of change?
Um, so personally, my horizon of change is I gave myself like a goal of the next few years. I want to be more into a collaborative sharing type of learning because I feel like in the past year I've done a lot of learning or a formation of like stuff that I wanted myself to learn so I could grow. But I feel
Mhm.
like now I want to be more into the sharing. Make sure I work with other people and share what I know right now.
Mhm.
And because I feel like I've learned so much from people like you guys or like the whole collective. So I felt like maybe I could give that back. And also in a professional way, my horizon of change is, like I said, I want to do a little step to changing thing and making sure there's no recipe. And I'm trying to try something new every event and re-question every little uh, uh, like big big chunk that sometime in the event we take it for granted and we're like, oh,
Mhm.
we've always done it like that and it always worked. And I like to ask the why question thousands of times just to make sure, okay, but why are we doing that? And how can we do it better? And if we do it better, like what could it be? So I think that my horizon of change, like it's really large, but I think it, for my horizon of change is keep doing that
Mhm.
as a goal. Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that you've really applied yourself into this space for such a long time, but also now seeing how can you, what you've built up in your skill set, but also in your knowledge and in your network, how can you apply that in a collaborative way, right? So I think that's really interesting, and it's probably a sign of the times, right? Where things you learn in one area are so applicable in another area where it might not
Mm,
be seen or be experienced in the same way. That if you can cross-pollinate those ideas, which I appreciate is a luxury we have just by doing this podcast, right? This is the 223rd episode in season 6
mm,
of talking to people about event design. And we get to speak to people that do all different types of events in all sorts of different
yeah.
spaces. And just having that is one of the reasons why people also listen to this podcast, I suppose, is that yeah, we're all kind of in the gathering business, right? but gathering people in different spaces and different contexts is so different, and
Oh,
yet so
totally.
much the same, right? People are the same, but the way they interact and what they know and how they connect to each other could be very different. So I think
Mm-mm.
it is super fascinating. Um, I want to thank you for being on stage on the Design to Change podcast in this edition so far. There's some stuff that I'd like to discuss backstage, right? We'll go to the backstage episode in just a moment. For now, thank you for sharing, all the cool work that you've done and talk to us about, the pivotal moments in your career, how you got into events and what's next on your horizon. And I look forward to speaking to you backstage where we can catch up on some of the nitty-gritty and inside stories of event designers in action. Thank you, Maryse,
Thank you
for
so
this
much.
first part.
Thanks.
This has been another episode of the Design to Change Designer Conversation series. Explore these conversations and additional content at designtochange.online. Want more right now? Tune into the backstage episode of this conversation and hear what the experts discuss off stage.